look for tellable stories that are physically tellable, and from a plot point of view, that which is at least pliable.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Life Plot Podcast with Mario Benitez. This is going to be my first ever Dolo cast. Yes, me flying Dolo doing this podcast, man. I'm doing this because sometimes I just got so much on my mind, and like everybody else, especially if you're into many things, sometimes you don't have specific people to talk about said things. So I'm bringing it to you, the audience, man, which I'm excited about. What's been going on, man? So many events this past week, especially here in New York. So many sporting events, right? The New York Knicks finally won, man. That's amazing, man. Like, for so many years of my life, my highlight was Chris Childs hitting Kobe in the face, rest in peace. But that was the main highlight for so long, and now we finally champions, and we actually did it, and it just brought back seeing that, man, it just brought back such a flood. This whole season and this run in the playoffs, there's a flood of so much of my life, I imagine everybody's lives growing up, right? Like, so many of these years and watching the Knicks, they always play pivotal roles in, growing up, I'm 38, so, man, there's just been so many moments when I was in junior high and high school, then after school, and then, watching all my favorite players, man. I remember Charlie Ward was my favorite player for a long time, too, especially in the older teams, like Charlie Ward and Chris Childs, and finally getting to see this team do it. And I don't know if you guys are like me, but there was two moments this past year, and there was these two moments that really made me sit back and feel nostalgia. And it's from two different ends of the world, One was playing Resident Evil 9 Requiem, and the other was watching this Knicks run. If you're into sports, then you would understand it. If you're into gaming, then you would understand it. And if you're into both, then you definitely understand me, especially as a New Yorker. Playing Resident Evil 9 was just, spoiler alert, I remember going into when you go back to the RPD, right? And seeing that, and then realizing how long ago you actually sat there and played that. I played that with my older cousin the first weekend it came out. Such a funny story. I remember coming out of elementary school and stopping by Blockbuster because I saw that the game was there. So I hid one of the cases so we could come back and rent it. And when I go home, I'm excited to tell my older cousin, and I'm like, as soon as I come in, I'm like, yo, Ed, we gotta go get Resident Evil 2. It just came out. We go rent it. I hid one. And he points to the screen, and he's playing Resident Evil 2. And I'm like, it was such a surprise, And then, going back to that and knowing it's been, 30 years is just, I feel just like the RPD, man. My life has nuked me, So, coming back and just reliving all that, it's just pure nostalgia, man. And the same thing with the Knicks, right? You watch this run, Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, fucking OG and Cat and the rest of the team, and you start thinking about all the players you grew up watching and all those moments in life that you were rooting the Knicks on, and it just all correlates, And it's funny because those two worlds, maybe they don't have nothing too much to do with each other, but it seems so funny to me how they brought back just these memories. At these two different points, sporting has been, I think about this a lot. When you think about sports and history, sporting events have always taken place side by side with pivotal moments in society, And it's funny right now here in America, if you pay attention to the political climate and how just our economy is going and the direction we've been heading for the past few decades, and now this culmination of so many of these sporting events taking place side by side where you look at it and you're like, man, it is complete distraction, right? And I'm a sports fan, but it is distraction. I say that because also, this past weekend was the UFC White House card. And as a MMA fan, I watch MMA like die hard, man. Like, and I watch boxing as well. Just fight sports are some of my favorite, right? And I had mixed feelings about this because partially I'm like, why are we doing this, right? At the White House right now during this time? Well, we just sparked a new war while the economy and inflation is taking place. While, it doesn't seem like anything is really being fixed. As someone who feels it in their pockets, as someone who's had health care repealed in certain ways and have to pay more being diabetic for insulin and just products to take care of myself, I've been feeling it personally. So seeing that UFC card, I was like, man, this is like what the Roman Republic was doing at the end, right? Like they always did this. Like there was enemies at their gates and shit, and the Republic was falling, and they would throw gladiator games. Hey, watch everybody kill each other while we fucking rape and pillage over here and fucking have these enemies at our doorstep coming to fucking kill us. Nah, it's no worries. Who cares? Oh, there's famine. Who cares? Just watch these gladiators. Forget about all that. And it's kind of no matter what you feel, no matter what you say, that's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. And our country's leader, right? You say, all right, it's for the 250th American anniversary, right? Which cool, but he throws it on his birthday. I just don't know that the ego in someone to do that. Like, you could have waited to the actual birthday of the nation, right? It's not that far away, but you do it on your birthday. And as someone who pays attention to all the backlash that people on the left and someone like Colin Kaepernick got for taking a knee, a lot of the right wing fans of MMA were out there just talking shit about him. 100%. I can only imagine how many that were talking shit about Colin Kaepernick taking a knee and protesting, right? And then now the UFC is so politically charged. Like it's annoyingly so. Like it's really insane actually. And these are the toughest individuals in the world. These are the people that I respect so much because they literally put their lives on the line every day for entertainment, man. And sometimes not even a good check because Dana White doesn't pay them that much, especially the lower tier guys. They're out there trying to kill each other just as hard to get bonuses. It's and just seeing this, right? Like it's just like, damn, like it's upsetting to know how political it's gotten. It's like these people are guaranteed they dislike the they-thems of the left, but now you guys are the he-tards of the right, and you're just sucking one politician off. And it's like, yo, leave all these politicians out because they fail, man. Each presidency fucking fails. And if you're still rocking with this guy in office right now, I just think you either ignorant to what's really going on or you're just cool with a lot of blatant bullshit. Just so much bullshit from the Epstein files to the way that they're running meme coins to steal from the people and taking billions and billions of dollars from Americans and, yo, give me more money and let me just keep on. Oh, yeah, give this to me. You see it, especially in the UFC, they're running Trump meme coins. Like, what the fuck is happening, man? And people go along with this shit. And yet, I will say, guess what? I watched it. I did watch it. I wanted to see the fights, right? I legally streamed it. And I wanted to watch it because, like I said, I am a MMA fan. I tried to get over it. Like, so many times I'm just watching it. I'm like, ugh. Another commercial for this? Oh, my God. But there's also this other truth, right? Because, and this is what a lot of powerful people do, especially, that family in office. They constantly do this, right? They will use the military services and armed services as almost a prop, to show their appreciation for the nation. But legislatively, they usually do things that don't help, our veterans. Man, veterans have been screwed over left and right. And these people are literally on the front lines so many times, especially of the past wars that we shouldn't have even been in. And they go without questioning and they put their lives on the line for us kids. People that, I think about that, a lot of them are 18, 19. Man, imagine going to war and dying at 18 and 19. Like I said, that would be 20 years of my life taken away. You know how much life I've lived in those 20 years? And these people go fight for us. And it's almost like, we acknowledge it enough. I think the regular person does. But these fucking billionaires and shit, like, they do it just to stay in power. And same thing with UFC, right? It was great to see all the veterans and first responders walking out the fighters. Amazing, which is, all due respect to these people. But you hear what some of these billionaire class individuals and even our president has said about them. And then you wonder what's really in their heart. Like, yeah, you just propping it up because you can and you want to get cheered on. But in your fucking mind, you're really a piece of shit, man. Because at the end of the day, how many people get shitted on by this nation for decades, They come back from war and they get left homeless. They don't get the proper, mental health care and health care. What's going on while these same people, just blatantly and over again reap off what our armed forces actions do, and it's upsetting in that sense, man. So it's like this, it's this counterbalance, because you go, man, I'm happy to see these guys get acknowledged, but you're being acknowledged by somebody I don't feel like really gives a fuck about you, And maybe at the end of the day, y'all would feel differently, but in my eyes, that's what I see. In my small little eyes, that's what I see. But, I watch the fights. I watch the fights, man, and it's funny, the main event, right? Ilya Taporia ended up taking a insane beating from Justin Gaethje, And it's kind of ironic, right? Because, like, the main event is headlined by a Mexican-American at the White House. Justin Gaethje is Mexican. A lot of people know that. He got the Canelo thing going on, you know what I mean? But he's a Mexican dude, And it kind of makes sense the way he fights, on his front foot. He's ready to go to war with everybody. But at the White House, you got a Mexican-American holding our flag up, While the country and this presidency has, man, gone so hard at Mexico and people from that nation that tried to come in here, our neighbors, and man, he won the fight and he made one hell of a highlight for America. I'll tell you that, man. He put it on a very cocky individual in Ilya Taporia, man. It reminded me of, and to go back to the Knicks, right? Ilya Taporia and Victor Wembanyama got a lot going on in common the past week, man. Because they really thought that they had it in the bag. They both went in there. Ilya Taporia was eating dinner before his fight, a victory dinner the night before his fight. If that's not some cocky, egotistical bullshit, I've never heard of something that is, The same thing with Victor, right? He, kept saying about the Knicks. They thought they won the championship right after beating OKC. But they went up against a brick wall. They went up a real brick wall of the New York Knicks and Justin Gaethje. The Knicks landed serious fucking ground and pound on that whole Spurs team, man. 4-1, and Gaethje the same thing, won 3-1 in rounds, man. And yeah, it's something real humbling about that. You got to pay attention to that, right? Because it's like, how many sayings are on that? Like, don't count your chickens before the eggs hatch. It ain't over till it's over. Like, man, that's like, you learned that as a child and shit, and you're out here just being too overly confident. And then it just makes you look bad when you do lose, This, being humble and humility is a beautiful thing, man. Because at the end of the day, when you do come against a loss or a setback. You get to go, hey, this is part of the journey. I will move on, you know. How does one face like such serious times and, you know, such serious moments in life and try to kick back from it, right? World Cup's also taking place, right? Like the chaos of America going going into flames, right? Is also headlined by the World Cup. So we literally like this this administration. You gotta laugh at this shit because it's so poetic. The administration literally like shit on all our allies, went to a new war, pushed away the whole world, had the whole United Nations looking at us like, what the hell? NATO looking at us like, what the fuck? And then we're hosting the World Cup. And I feel bad, like, if you haven't heard about what's going on with Iran, the national team, like, they got to stay in Mexico. Like, they're not even allowed in America. Like, dude, sporting events should be separate from, like, world events. It always has been, you know? You look at just the last 100 years, it's always been like that. Like, dude, like, wasn't even Hitler at the games and shit? Like, dude, one of the nastiest regimes ever, and he was rocking out at the Olympics, like, and now you're pushing away Iran's national team. It's just like, what are we doing in America, man? It's just disgusting in so many ways, and I just don't get how people. I think a good portion have pushed back against this, especially in the light of, like I said, so many things like the Epstein files and just the constant blatant going against going against our Constitution, man, in almost every step. So I think there is a good portion, but if you look online, it's just, and I swear this is like bots a lot of times, because I'm like, you cannot, this thought process cannot really exist in people out there. It has to be a bot, right, in this bullshit. And speaking this bullshit into the ether, man. And it probably is. It probably really is. You know, that happens nonstop. But, you know, it's just sporting and current events going hand in hand. While the world is being destroyed, people are cheering their teams on. And I don't know what that says about anything, but it's just a really interesting fact to me. This is my first one, so maybe I'll jump it around a little bit, you know. It's kind of funny when you're talking to yourself. It's a little hard to keep a conversation, especially by yourself. I've done this in my head so often, I'm like, oh man, he made a good point. Yeah, Mario, you got this. But by yourself, totally different, especially with cameras. Very different. But I just want to say this about Victor Wembanyama one more time, man. Him walking off the court and not shaking the Knicks' hand, it's bullshit. So much fucking bullshit. And I'll tell you, it's like, for years of my life, I grew up hearing that the French are assholes, you know. But I never been to France. I've met a couple French individuals in my life. Very nice. Very cool. So I don't believe it. That's what they say about New Yorkers, right? Yo, New Yorkers are grimy, they're dickheads. And it's like, yeah, but not really. You got to really pull that out of us. And we're kind of like that because you always got to keep your head on a swivel, right? You got to be ready for anything, man. You got to be ready, dog. So you hear this all the time. And then I see the way in the series he comes out. And I'm like, yo, this guy is a fucking asshole. This guy, he's like, the dude is like 8'16" feet tall, you know. This dude is fucking, he's fucking 9'8", and he got all these gifts, and he's just fucking upset and playing dirty. And it's like, bro, calm the fuck down. You lost. Shake the opponent's hand. You learned that as a damn child. You shake your opponent's hand. You lost, dog. Like, you know how much shit growing up I've heard about Isaiah Thomas getting for not shaking, like, the Bulls' hands? It's like, bro, you don't do that shit. That's unsportsmanlike. And you know what? I'm thinking that maybe it's him, but maybe it's just the French, man. You know, you go up against my Knicks, and it's fuck French fries, it's fuck mimes, it's fuck, fuck Macron, fuck the Eiffel Tower, and that's just what it's gonna be. And especially with that attitude, man. And I think even next year, I think we're gonna own them just as much. Even though that team got a lot of talent, man. You know, Fuck Wembanyama, man. But yeah, this past week, man, there was so many events that even got overshadowed. Like, people forget it was the Puerto Rican Day parade. The damn Puerto Rican Day parade took place right after the Knicks winning, and it's like, what a 1-2, you know, especially for New York. And a Puerto Rican like myself, that was like, we always feel like we on top of the world, man, but that felt like we were like killing shit in New York, man. And then once again, right, there's this correlation. Like, I guess that's the topic of this the Dolo cast, man. Is like fun events and then real life, man. Because you hear about what's going on in Puerto Rico, right? There's people without water, without electricity. Like, I think it's over 100,000, and we're over here celebrating in New York, and not enough people are speaking about it. And it's always these pillars, right? You got the life goes on, and then you got the real shit happening across the world, and it's like you got to acknowledge both. I try to acknowledge both, and if everybody at least tries to acknowledge both and puts some effort into helping one way or another, I think we constantly get over these things, you know. But it's really telling about how the world works, and just one solid week, you can just see so much going wrong, and so much, you know, I won't say going right, but so much fun taking place within all of that, right? And I guess that's life. That is life, you know. You gotta enjoy the journey and enjoy even like the worst parts. You know, when you feel pain means you're alive, you know, and that's a gift too. I've had a lot of friends that have struggled with mental health, and just a lot of moments in their lives that they felt down and out, you know, and I've literally been close to death before. I've knocked on that door, and through the grace of the Most High and whatnot, I was able to keep my mind on just going forward and taking things in stride and laughing through it, you know. And that's such a magical thing when you can laugh at it all, and you need that because, like I said, life and even the pain is a gift. Missing someone or losing someone or being sick at an old age, like that's what, if you're lucky, that's what you're given, you know. That's the best case scenario, and it never gets easy at any of these moments, I will say that, and you will always have to, it's an uphill battle, you know. It's like a Sisyphean act, you know, Sisyphus from mythology, like, you know, he got cursed to push that boulder up the hill, right? But every day he did it and said, fuck it, I'm going to try to push this boulder higher each time, even though I know it's going to fold, but fuck you, I'm pushing this motherfucker. And that's how you got to face things, man. You know, we'll always have these side-by-side pillars of things going wrong and trying to take a little bit of enjoyment out of life while these things go wrong. And I think that balance is the journey, you know. So I hope, you know, I hope more excitement comes to you than, you know, bad. But when the bad comes, just realize that if you can get through it, that's also a gift. And I don't think I'm going to hold you up too much. This is my first one. I'm going to be trying to do these more often, the Dolo cast. You know, I do got a lot to say. And I'm into a lot of things, man. I'm into from science to politics to sports. And I got a lot on my mind, and I love sharing it with you, man. I love having a dialogue. So if you want to go in the comments and talk shit to me, I appreciate that too, man. And I do just wish you the best, you know. Thank you for listening. I'll be back with some guests in the coming weeks. Some more bullshit and more Dolo cast. This is the Life Plot with Mario Benitez. Appreciate y'all.
Yes, don't you?
Yes, The question, really, I guess I'm trying to get at is,